sound check.
At least I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So we don't need the slides that say update-06. The information is all in the deck that says update-07.
I think we're all here. Someone else missing? Michael Kostiak, maybe. You see, Michael Koster. Yeah, see, that's all I had to do was say his name. Then he showed up. Michael Kostiak. That's someone else I know. It's a different person. Lorenzo, you want to
Yes.
do your stuff here?
Yeah, sure. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to this 11th ASDF interim meeting. So please notice this meeting is going to be recorded. And next one, please. Yeah, as usually, I'd ask for a note-taking volunteer, which usually is Ari, I guess. Is it? Or Jan? Anyone?
I guess we can both chip in.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, okay, so agenda is pretty straightforward for today. I'm not even going to update the drafts because, well, the drafts that have been updated are exactly the one that are discussed today. So we have the instance information, Carsten will be presenting, and then Bart and Ruit will provide updates on NIPSI and SDF protocol mappings. And then we can discuss any other business in the end. Next slide, and then yeah, we have the new Notewell reminder of IETF policies. So I just included it in the new version of the share slides. There is also a QR code where you can find more information. Please go ahead and familiarize with that if you haven't done it yet in the last IETF. And yeah, I guess that is, yeah, and then there is next slide. We have, yeah, the code of conduct guidelines: treat colleagues with respect, speak slowly, and limit the use of slang. Provide the reasoned argumentations for discussion and improve, the work we are doing. Yeah, and then in general do the best thing for the internet. And yeah, that's it. So we can probably load instance information slides for Carsten, and yeah, the floor is yours.
Yeah, actually, the presentation will be done by Jan. So if you can hand
okay,
him
go ahead,
the
Jan.
slide control.
Hi.
Awesome. Go ahead, Jan.
Yeah, thank you.
Trying to get the
Hello.
right one on the right slides because they look identical in the slide sorter, sadly. Well, let's try. That's 06. That's 07. Okay. And
Great.
yeah. And
Oh, great. Yeah, I also see the slide controls. Yeah, great. Hello, everyone. This presentation covers the two most recent revisions of the instance information draft submitted by Carsten and me. And yeah, the most recent revision of the draft is -07, as you can see here on the slides. And yeah, this is also a link that leads you to the data triggered page, of course. Yeah, so with the new revisions, we are trying to incorporate the discussions we had during and since IETF 1 to 4, both with ETRI and within 1DM. And the revisions try to address the increasing conceptual convergence with the non-affordance draft that we've been observing. And they also deal with the fact that we did not have a formal specification of the now unified message format yet. And also with the question whether we can reduce the number of distinct instance-related message types by clustering them. Addressing these questions, we are now actually copying over the 3 message types that are part of the non-affordance draft and use them as examples. Furthermore, the unified message format that covers all 6 of the message types we had so far is now formally specified, which also includes a CDDL definition. And we are proposing 4 message archetypes that are able to cover the use cases the previous message types were based on. Yeah, in this table we can see a systematization of instance-related messages across the dimensions content and intended effect, which led us to the 4 archetypes: status report update, construction message, and state patch, which each fall into one of the 4 cells of the matrix. In the matrix, we are distinguishing between freestanding and relative content on the one hand, and state exposure and state change on the other hand. And yeah, in the draft, we are defining media types for the 4 archetypes, but as indicated on the previous slide, besides small differences in the structure, the archetypes are mainly distinguishable via their content. That is, whether a message is freestanding or using, for example, another message as a reference point, and via the effect. That is, whether we are just reporting a state or trying to change it, actually. A work in progress example can be seen on this slide, where we have a message that could theoretically either serve as a status report or as a construction message, since they are structurally identical at the moment. In the example, the model quality within SDF instance of indicates which part of the referenced SDF model is supposed to be the entry point used by the top level SDF instance quality. And within SDF instance, we can see concrete values both for the SDF context and SDF property definitions, while the info block at the top contains a message ID that could be referenced by a status report update message, for example. And note also that we included both a timestamp and a thing ID as context information in this example. That could also be part of the message format itself, but this is a point that is still up for debate at the moment. With the approach currently proposed in the draft, we can use the media type as well as the recipient and the intended effect as criteria to identify the kind of message we are dealing with. Also note that there are still a couple of open questions related to construction messages that may lead us to decide against using the exact same structure, both for construction messages and status reports. These questions are mainly related to the interpretation of concrete values for affordances and the information that should be provided for setting up the affordances of a thing. Just noticing, no. This slide we can see an example that relates to the other two message archetypes, the status report update and the state patch. Structurally, these two messages are very similar to the other two archetypes due to the unified message format we have now, with the main difference being that they are either referring to a previous message or the current state of a thing. In the status report update, a previous message must be referenced via the previous message ID that we can see in the info block. This is actually a relatively small but very important structural difference to the state patch message, where this previous message ID is not intended to be used at the moment. In the ASDF instance of quality of these two archetypes, we may also specify the patch method that's supposed to be used, although at the moment we are only considering JSON merge patch here, also as the default value. But different methods could be indicated here in the future after being added to a corresponding registry. That still needs to be defined at this point. As mentioned earlier, the 6 message types we were previously discussing, namely proof shots, context snapshots, identity manifests, proof shot deltas, context patches, and construction messages, all correspond with one of the 4 archetypes. And as all archetypes can combine context information with affordance-related information, proof shots, context snapshots, and identity manifests can actually all be considered different examples or manifestations of the status report archetype at this point. Michael, please go ahead.
Sorry, this slide suggests to me that you are obsoleting these old message types and replacing them with the archetypes.
Yeah, there's kind of the intention, but we would still use the old message types as examples, or as examples for the use cases of the new message archetypes, actually.
So I'm just trying to understand, like, the double quotes around old. So you're not really obsoleting them. They're just, well,
they are covered by this now unified format, basically, or these archetypes. Carsten, go ahead.
Yeah, so there is a difference between something that we need to define formally in a way that the two interoperating entities understand exactly what it is, and something that's just a descriptive term. So why was this message generated? Or maybe even what it is it supposed to do? Who is it supposed to be sent to? And there is a difference between proof shots, context snapshots, and identity manifests in what they focus on. So proof shot is supposed to be complete. The other two are supposed to focus on specific subsets of that information. But that doesn't make the report different structurally. So we have one archetype, but we might have different reasons to use that archetype, and one might be to get a context snapshot and one might be to get an identity manifest. So these terms are not going away, probably, but they are not formal terms that need to be defined and understood in a technical way.
Yeah, thank you for
I understand. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. While working on the new revisions, we also collected a first set of axioms regarding instance-related messages, some of which are included on this slide. And very importantly, with the current design, we achieve a clear separation of model and instance information, while the shape of the instance-related messages is always governed by a corresponding SDF model. We also observed that we should generally exclude instance-related messages from the interaction model and rather consider them built into SDF, as otherwise we may need to repeat the structure of the surrounding model in Fornon's definition. A special case could be actually the construction message, though, which may correspond with an action affordance, but other cases may also exist and require more investigation in the future. Lastly, we are currently considering instance-related messages to primarily being used for conversion and interoperability purposes, but they could also serve as an ecosystem-specific format if an ecosystem decides so. Yeah, our work on the draft is not finished yet, and there are still a number of open questions we need to tackle. One is related to the relationship between SDF protocol map and context information, for which the draft now contains an initial proposal that uses JSON pointers. The debate about the use of SDF context and SDF property is also not fully settled yet. But I personally think that the new SDF context keyword is useful. We probably still need to improve our reasoning and potentially also the litmus test we have been discussing, provided that it will eventually still be needed, actually. And lastly, we also still need to think about how to model the state of actions and events. In the case of events, there has been the idea of including an event history in instance-related messages, while modeling the state of actions is probably a bit trickier and also needs more discussion going forward. Yeah, this concludes our presentation. I'm looking forward to any more comments or questions, and yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Jan. This is great, and I'm glad to see this getting mature and stable. Now I was thinking, have you tried to apply this to running code and use cases and seeing how does it work? I would love to hear your experiences around that.
Yeah, so I've started an implementation, but it's not that mature yet, I have to admit. But this would definitely be my next step to provide a proof of concept and find out what the limitations might be and where we still need refinement. So yeah, this would be definitely the next step, and I would inform you once there's something to try out.
Great, thanks.
Oh, Joanna? Sorry.
Go ahead, Younga.
Yeah, thank you.
Headphones.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, sounds much better.
Oh, okay, thank you. Can you go to the page 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the identity manifest is here, belong to the status report. I think this is also, this needs to go to this construction message as well.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
It's a very good point. So you would actually rather consider this identity information that is used to set up a device, for example.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I see.
And can you go to the previous page, 7 or 6?
Yeah.
One more up.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
6. Oh, here, the different media type. So what is the media type here in the example?
Yeah, so that would be something like application SDF status reports plus JSON, for example. I'm not entirely sure what the actual phrasing was, but it's something SDF and then something that identifies the message archetype, basically. So in this case, it would be something like SDF status report and SDF construction message, for example. And each of these 4 archetypes has their own media type. So it would be something like application / SDF and then the name of the message and then plus JSON in this case.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Oh, please go ahead.
Please go ahead, Yun Yong.
We don't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the purpose of the message ID? I think the message type and device ID will be enough.
You mean the message ID? So this is actually to be able to refer to a previous previous message, basically. So this enables you to to link two messages together, basically. But yeah, I mean, you're right that you could maybe also use timestamp and think ID, maybe. So, but I guess having an ideally unique identifier for message doesn't can't hurt, and maybe also makes it easier to establish this link between 2 messages.
Do you think
But-
that the messages are going to be out of order such that and you'll have more than one of them such that you'll need that partial ordering?
I mean, could be the case, I guess. I mean, maybe maybe this is something we need to discuss whether this is actually needed, or whether I don't know, maybe some other way of indicating the order could also be used, or maybe whether there could be different ways of indicating the order could also be an option. But yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I think we can think about that a bit more. I mean, we also have still the open question of whether we want to move the timestamp and thing ID up into the info block, or treat it in a way that so that this isn't just regular context information, but maybe information of a special kind that enables you to identify or match this message to a thing. So yeah, this is definitely an aspect we need to think about going forward. So thank you for bringing it up.
Okay, thank you. I think someone say with the messages and message IDs, it will be matter, I think. Thank you.
Yeah, if you do not have any more questions, as it appears to be, thank you, Jan.
I wanted to ask the group whether this document was ready for adoption. feels like it to me.
I don't object. Anyone? Ari?
Yeah, I think like, I mean, definitely it's getting getting stable, mature, and useful. So I think we're getting. I haven't read a recent version though, but all that Jan has presented so far, based on the discussions, I think we're getting there.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone objecting? Otherwise, I guess we can proceed in the next weeks to the adoption call. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Jan.
Thank you. Thanks.
Next slide deck, the SDF protocol mapping, and NIPSI. Let me. Okay, right.
Hey, yeah.
Yes, let me give you control.
Yeah, I mean, for SDF protocol, I think it's just one slide, so you can just go to the next slide, I guess. Oh, yeah, I guess you can.
I'll just give it to you. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so just a quick update on SDF protocol mapping. We released a new draft 02 earlier today, or yesterday, or I guess today. We published. So the changes in this new draft are fairly small. So we had these open API definitions for the protocol mappings that were part of the NIPSI draft, which we hadn't moved to this draft. So we moved that here. That is pretty much, I think, the only change that was in this draft. But there are a couple of open issues, I think, that we had left from the last meeting. So that we could just quickly discuss that. So one of the open issues that we had was the inclusion of these IP-based protocol mappings in the draft, mainly HTTP or Open API mapping and CoAP mapping. And I think Carsten and Elliot as well had some objections to it. Since then, I've also spoken to Elliot, and what he recommended was that we just take it out of the draft, given that we don't fully know what we are covering with having like an open API sort of mapping, and also because we do not really have an implementation or running code that covers that particular mapping. Like we have implementations for BLE and ZigBee, but we do not have one for IP-based protocols. So I just want to know what the suggestion is from the working group. Should we go ahead and remove it from the draft? Or maybe it's like if someone would want to take up like a POC or something to try out maybe something like a CoAP mapping. Yeah, Carsten.
Yeah, I think it would be good to have that. I'm just wondering whether we have to wait for that. I mean, we are doing these examples to find out whether what we are defining is good. So in an ideal world, I would say, yeah, let's have those. But I'm not sure I would want to wait until these examples are of a quality that we can working group plus call them. So maybe we should just open another document that has those examples and process this on a slightly staggered time frame.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Lorenzo. Sorry.
Yeah, plus one on what Carsten has just said. And the thing is that this document should go before NIPSI, right? So they're intertwined. And if we, wait for perfect examples in the draft, then everything gets delayed. So maybe even for CoAP, maybe we should hold it back, and then we come back with a new draft, and then we link it to the registry, which is the main point. of this draft, right? The registry.
Yes,
so that we
it'll
can
have the
add-
registry, and then we already have like the BLE and ZigBee ones, which are,
Yes.
I mean, that we already have an implementation. I think that is pretty much solid, so we can go ahead with that.
Yes.
But I think right now we have an open API mapping. I can go ahead and just remove it, and in the sense that we'll have it in a different document.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And also maybe a reflection on the open API. It's, I mean, of course you can link it, and then I guess it is up to whatever piece of software is parsing the open API. So yeah, in a sense, it gives you a comprehensive description of what you're trying to model there, but then eventually it's still up to, you know, to to the parser what to do with that. So maybe that is also something to take into consideration for you know, further development of this this protocol mapping. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add that, yeah, I agree with Lorenzo, and I would actually, yeah, try to contribute to the co-op-based protocol mapping once there's a separate document. Just want to add that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that would be great, actually, given that you've done something similar already for web of things. So let's spawn up a new one and let's get it going. Ari.
Yeah, I also agree, and I think it's actually a good way forward that the stable ones go to the upcoming RFC of mapping, but then we know it's extendable to the right direction, and we already have a hint with the upcoming new draft that, hey, this kind of things will be added here. So it's obvious for everyone how this can be used, even though it's not part of the RFC. So the plan sounds really good.
Great. Yeah, I think the second point that I have here is, yeah, so I guess I just want, so I'll conclude on the first one, that we'll go ahead with removing it then from the current version of the draft. Yeah, for the second point, the NIPSI APIs today, we have these explicit connection management APIs, and we also reuse this SDF protocol map keyword there. So we were just wondering, because today the document specifies that, okay, the SDF protocol map is used in the SDF document and not, you know, in an outside API. So this was one of the things that, should we have something that says that we can also support it in the API? But then I think we can also just rename the field that is in the NIPSI API. So, and I think Bart has something to add as well.
Yeah, so what, you know, in kind of going through the NIPSI spec, there's areas in which we return protocol-specific information, right? For example, like a BLE GAT database, for example, in a connection request. So we're kind of contemplating now how to deal with that, because it's not a protocol map, because it doesn't map an SDF affordance to a BLE or a kind of a protocol-specific implementation. So we're thinking probably we need like another keyword for that, and you know, kind of a different way to include that in the NIPSI API. It may not have to be in an SDF model.
Bart, can you point to an example?
Yeah, there's an example in section 4.4 of the NIPSI spec, right, where you in a connection request to return BLE specific information, like, you know, so that's specifically when we were reviewing the NIPSI spec, we were kind of like, okay, this is not really a protocol map, so we need to kind of take another look at this.
Okay, and the key question would be, would you use exact same construct as in the SDF document, or something slightly different to express the same information?
I would, you know, we're kind of thinking right now, maybe we have a different keyword, like maybe an SDF protocol information keyword or something that says, that allows you to return protocol specific information but it's not actually a mapping.
Okay.
But
the content-
I mean, we didn't want to like discuss the solution, a proposed solution in this meeting yet, because we've just, you know, we haven't really gone into depth on this yet. So we still have to kind of test our assumptions here.
Okay, then let's take it up later when you have it.
Yeah, Ari, and actually this is an issue you raised. I mean, it's one of the issues you raised. We can talk about it during the NIPSI section.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, oh yeah. So I think the next slides are all NIPSI slides, which I think Bart is going to be presenting. So Lorenzo, can you like transfer the control back down?
All right, NIPSI. All right, so we took advantage of a lot of our colleagues eating turkey and having some heads down time on our hands to actually kind of make a lot of progress on the NIPSI draft. So Thanksgiving was really good for that. So we released draft 15 yesterday. So what has changed in draft 15? So we had 24 issues that we closed in draft 14. We discussed those in the face-to-face meeting in Montreal and circulated on those on the mailing list for comments. We got a few comments from Michael and Ari, but those 24 are now, you know, fully closed, so they're not active anymore. We closed 12 additional issues in draft 15. So those are now available for review for another 2 weeks, and then they'll be, you know, kind of fully closed as well. There's 7 issues remaining, so we're kind of getting there. 4 issues are in progress, and 3 we still have to get started on. We also have a new security consideration section, actually a new implementation status section as well. I forgot that here. And we spent a lot of time fully reviewing the text, editing sections, and enhancing it for readability. Yeah, we made a lot of changes over the time and not really kind of completely read through the text. So and we spent a lot of time rewording, also making sure that you know, the text was clear and used you know, IETF keywords like, you know, such as must or should have, and all those types of keywords. The only section that's not ready is the for connection management section, and that's in relation to the issue we just discussed. So, you know, we have to solve that, and then we can kind of sort out the connection management section. So in detail, the completed issues, so these are available for final review and comment until December 17, at which time they will be fully closed. So the Jetty servlet implementation issue with path-based percent encoding. So a section was added to the draft to kind of explain why we went with query parameters for that. So that could be closed. Content format quality. We also included some text that explains that you can leverage that to indicate content type. Naming. So the draft is now named. Oh man, I forgot the name. It's not named non-IP anymore, but it's named. Sorry, what is it named now?
A non-internet connected physical component.
Yes, non-internet connected. Non-internet connected. Sorry, what was it again, Rohit? I forgot. Physical component. Yes, non-internet connected physical component. It is called now, and all the references to non-IP in the text also were changed. So all of that, you know, kind of was removed. limited power budget comment by Ari. We also updated then some editorial changes. So those were also updated. More detail was added on what data, why you need data applications, and some changes in the data registration section as well. We've made UUIDs more unique, and we had some issues in the get registration models return value, which we fixed. We created an implementation status section, and then we moved all of the protocol mapping open API definitions in the appendix to the SDF protocol mapping and created a reference there. Other completed work is that we now have a security section, a security consideration section, and the text was fully reviewed. And the sections were edited and completed and enhanced for readability, and that includes the 4.4 connection management because of the reason that we discussed before. So we're kind of pretty happy with the progress. I think we really the document is really in much better shape now. So what is still in progress? The bridging, a function that Michael brought up in the last meeting. So basically allowing a device that is connected to a NIPSI gateway actually invoke an action, for example, on another device, right? This is something that Michael brought up. We've kind of started thinking about that, but that's not in the text yet. So that's still work in progress. IANA considerations and
is that something that could go in another document?
Michael, I mean, I'd like to kind of put something together in the next few weeks and potentially.
Okay. I just was thinking it was something that was too complicated and would hold up proceeding, but didn't require. Anyway, think about it. If
we'll try. Let's try, Michael. Let's see. We'll propose something by the next interim, and if it's good, then we can leave it in, if that's okay.
So is this going to be text that fully specifies a bridging function, or is this text that points out that the protocol is defined in such a way to enable building a bridging function?
I'd like to fully specify it.
Okay.
And I'd like to also, I mean, we like Zigbee supports like a binding type functionality that, kind of is similar to that. I mean, we would do this multi-protocol. And so we potentially try to implement this in a Zigbee prototype to actually fully test this out.
Mm-hmm.
So with work in progress, I'm hoping that we can still include this. Then IANA considerations, and it's kind of linked to problem type. So actually the IANA section, I think, is in pretty good shape. We just still need to kind of talk to the HTTP API and the problem type RFC authors on kind of our approach. So that's the only thing that's really still open there. And CDDL and all API definitions, that's pretty much all completed as well, except for this connection kind of management section. So that's the only place where we might have to add some CDDL, but that could also go in the SDF protocol mapping section. So all in all, the only really big item that's in progress is this application gateway function. And then still connection management section is also still open. So actually all the issues that are still open are kind of linked to this connection management thing. So really, if you think about it, we have two major items that we still need to look at is, what do we do with this protocol information that is not an SDF protocol map, and then this bridging function. So those are really the only two issues that are still open. Next step, obviously, is to resolve those issues. We want to make a proposal for this binding linking functionality. And then I think the text is in pretty good shape now. So, I mean, please feel free to give it a good read through. But we'd like to do like a final author review of the text before we kind of hand it to the working group for kind of review. And our goal is to really have a draft ready as a Christmas present under the Christmas tree for the working group, so that you're all not bored during the Christmas break, and you can read some SDF protocol mapping and some NIPSI documents. But yeah, so the goal really is to try to resolve these remaining issues by Christmas. So hopefully we get there. I think that's it. Any questions or comments? So I think that next year we can really start kind of getting the documents through, like get a good working group review and get the documents through the process. So we currently still have three. We currently have 3 normative references for documents that are not RFCs yet. So I'm not sure how that works, but it's SCIM device schema, which is going through the process, then obviously the SDF document, and then the SDF protocol mapping document as well.
I didn't quite understand where you see the problem.
I don't know. Don't all normative references have to be RFCs?
Yes.
Yeah.
But not at the time we are doing a working class call, but at the time
Okay.
when it actually gets published.
Okay.
So worst case, things get stuck in the RFC editor queue until the missing reference, or misref as it's called, is finally available.
Okay. All right.
And then you get these weird situations where you informatively link to an internet draft, and then it winds up as an RFC while you're waiting, and then you get sometimes a weird link to the. Anyway, don't worry about that. Is what Carson's really saying.
Okay.
Just worry about whether or not you are linking to something normatively that would not be something that you can link to normatively, right? Like something that's hard to review, or like we had this terrible problem with Bluetooth with was it Bluetooth with 6low, where the underlying document was not available without a big fee. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that. Those are the only normative references that are not available as RFCs yet.
Yeah, great progress, Bart. Thanks. We'll try to move the process after the festivities. And do we have any more questions or comments for Bart? Because if not, I see in the chat that maybe we should decide about our next interim in February and about the Shenzhen meeting. Any opinions on those?
So as I wrote in chat for people who aren't watching that, February 4th would be our next pattern. Works probably for me. I don't know if there's other issues or if someone wants to go think about it before they say yes.
I know Ericsson colleagues may have a deadline one day before that. They might be traveling. So
Would
should...
it be just easier for you if it was February 11th then? That will be will it be in the middle of Chinese New Year? I don't know that matters, but it might be worth knowing if it's.
So the
Chinese New Year starts on 18th.
Yeah, I see that now.
Yeah, February 11 doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
We have our Cisco customer event that week, so
yeah.
Oh.
Maybe the 4th is fine.
5th?
Works for me.
All right. Is that enough wiggle for you, Ari? Or you think you're just going to be like unable to prepare? What I'm hearing you say is that because you're doing this thing, you're unable to prepare, then you're traveling and whatever, and you don't want to have to run around and do it poorly.
Yeah, there's a risk of travel, but I would maybe the 4th is probably okay. There's a bit of risk of traveling at that time, but
okay. Well, if at our next meeting on the 7th you say the 4th, or some people say the 4th is a problem, we can reschedule that. We can figure something else.
The other comment I have, Michael, is that the 7th of January doesn't work for me. I'll be traveling, so
yeah, same for me.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, even I will not be available on 7th.
All right, so let's start by figuring out what a better day for January is then.
Yeah. I would say for me 2 weeks later would be better. Yeah.
The 21st.
Yeah, but then that gets very close to the 4th, right?
So maybe we should move the 4th 2 or 3 weeks further.
Yeah.
Yes, so you want to move it to the 21st. And should we defer to the 21st to figure out the next meeting then? Anyone else?
Yeah, 21st is good for me. And, February, we can decide February. My second half is also good for me for February.
Okay, let's do that. Okay. Anything else? Okay, what did I had another question? Oh yeah, I think we're not planning to meet at IETF 125. That's what I think. I'm not going physically, and so I don't see any reason to have if most of us are not there, I don't see any reason to try to make the plenary week busier than it needs to be. You're going, you better get your visa now. Okay, so anything else? We're going to need document shepherds for some things. Oh yes, the other question I had was, Karsten, what's happened with SDF? Are we still stuck on an AD approval, or what happened?
We are stuck on answering the remaining, 7 questions by the RFC editor, which really are like 6 questions each. So it just requires everybody to do their full reread to answer those questions.
Okay, I just wanted to find out whether I needed to poke someone else, because we at one point we were had a Ori versus Francesca question.
Yeah,
that,
no,
yeah.
no, it's really on the authors right now, and Michael has said that, Mike Costa has said that he's doing the full reread right now, and I'm doing that. So I think we are making progress. It's just not back
Visible.
to the RFC editor yet.
Okay, thank you. Any other business? Well, thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Happy
Happy holidays.
holidays.
Bye bye.